Hey everybody, how's it going today? We are Head Removal Inc. tuning in now with our 12th episode of Tavern Talk with Head Removal Inc. You've
Even dozen.
got our myself, call me Samwise. We've got Jaboom TV, Myth
Welcome in, welcome
TV,
in.
and the old Wasso Cereal Man down there, down in the bottom corner.
You're stuttering this morning.
Dude, I haven't had my fucking full cup of coffee yet, so shut the fuck up.
You right? You right?
Listen, it's right here. It's right here. It's calcifer today. It's fucking toasted marshmallow and like burnt toffee or something like that. It's really good. But anyways, so we're on our 12th episode now. So we're talking about the how gaming shaped culture from Pong to Pixels. Basically, what we're doing is we're talking about everything that went back from in the early 70s with the boom, with the arcade boom, all the way up to current time with esports and streaming and the future that we have with gaming. So we're going to go ahead and get right into stuff, and we are opening it up with a quick recap of last episode. We talked about a lot of different things, really. Siri, you want to do a quick recap on the last episode? The good, the bad,
I'm
the
gonna pass
ugly.
it over to Myth. I'm pass it over to Myth. I'm a little busy at the moment.
Okay.
We talked about the good, the bad, the ugly of when games become movies or movies become games.
Indeed.
Some
We had a lot of good examples there too. Like
bangers.
Yes.
Yes. We talked about our dream movies that we would love to see games adapt into. So
Also ones that were close. Because I mean there was some that we talked about, like Assassin's Creed, felt like they had a decent cast. They just took a really bad direction. You know, Prince of Persia was a good one in there. It was a good episode if you guys missed it. Like we had a good little time last weekend. I mean last podcast.
You guys can catch it on the YouTube channel. All of the VODs are saved there for us. Also check out the Girls Book Talk podcast, the Scribe Wives. So the other question that we always open up with in every episode is, what have you guys been playing lately? We'll go
Far West.
Joe's been playing Far Far West, and I have been playing it with him. That game is fun as fuck. I don't think it would be as good as yeah. I don't think Far Far West would be as good if we didn't have like weird crazy builds we could do. Like the other day, Jeb was fucking flying.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Literally
it was
flying,
awesome.
yeah.
I was literally flying.
He had lower gravity on his character with a card. He had like 3 jumps and dashes, so he could legit just keep going in the air for a long time before he ran out of the jumps and stuff like that. And then I had an impulse grenade that launched him all the way to the top of the map to where he actually hit boundary.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious.
Definitely a good game. Definitely a good game. I would recommend anyone try it out. I'll go ahead and here's a link for it.
Yeah, it's stupid fun.
Definitely check it out.
It's pretty cool.
It is Helldivers with magic in the Western setting, fighting skeletons. Like it is really cool. It is really cool.
You're a robot fighting the undead.
Yeah. Yeah, fighting the undead. 100%. We're fighting mist people.
And I
DK,
playing, yeah. So games I've been playing, World of Warcraft, obviously. But me and the wife have been playing a lot of Valheim together.
That's good. Good game. I almost started a solo game by myself last night while I was looking around for something to do. I really had the itch to kind of start playing a survival to, sort of have that aimless just walking around with no intention gathering and slowly progressing a game. And then I ended up playing fucking Hades. So, yeah.
So, did you even play Atomic Crops or did you just boot it up?
I did, but then when I played that game a lot. And once I realized that I was starting at the beginning and how far I had to go and everything to unlock, I just give up. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah. Oh man.
I played that game a lot, man. A lot when it was on Game Pass.
What about you, Serial? You've been playing?
Man, for once, I'm actually not saying a shooter, which feels weird. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14.
Got the
I've
MMO
sunk
itch.
so much. Yeah, I've had that big MMO itch, and I've just been enjoying it. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but it's super fun.
But you're playing the
I've
fucking waffles. You fucking weirdo.
Hey, leave me and my Lalafell alone, all right?
You're
I
playing a
like being.
Oh my
I know,
god,
Yeah,
dude. Like,
dude.
because I can be a
of
tiny
all
little
things, you
archer.
could be a fucking dragon person. The all raw, all the way.
I don't
Yeah.
know if they did dragons like Blizzard did them. They did. It's so terrible. Every
No,
time,
no,
like I
no.
was leveling an augmentation
No.
again, and every time I play it, I hate that character model.
Nope. These are
No, the character
people
model looks
that
great.
have dragon horns and tails.
I
Oh, okay.
literally just wanted to be a tiny person because I was gonna go for the bard class. So I'm a tiny person that just plays music and runs around.
I think
It's literally
Lalafell.
perfect.
I
That's
think
an
Lalafell is
awful choice.
the only race in that game worse than Catgirls.
Yeah.
Hey, at least that's Mari didn't go with a
Yeah.
cat girl. Mari went with one of the little bunny people, so I'll take it.
She made a Fran.
A friend.
Yeah.
Girlfriend.
Everybody remembers Fran from the 12th one.
Yep. And for myself, I have been playing, of course, you all know that I play a variety of shit. So me and Grizzly played a night of Apex for the new season with the new legend who is fucking cancer because she just zooms around all the time and she has this alt that sends a drone out that tracks you and knocks you up into the air. But it's counterable. It's not too bad. And then, of course, Far West with Jeb and Myth yesterday. We enjoyed some of that.
Or dying in that.
You were a lot. And then that one match I did, I was like, why the fuck do I keep dying? And it was because we took the minus 30% health shit.
Yeah.
I checked out a demo for this game called Spell Brigade. It's just a little bullet hell game. It's pretty fun. And I'm waiting for the email that says I can get into the playtest for that Hellforge game because that one looks hella fun. So a couple different things been playing. I started playing that Traveler's Rest with the wife last night. It's a cozy little Stardew Valley like. So like you go around and collect materials and stuff. You craft things to make your tavern better. Like you can craft all of the new or all of the brews and you make food and stuff like that and you open up the tavern and then people come in, you serve them, you clean the bar and the tables and the floor and shit like that. So it's actually kind of fun. It's just really chill. I think we might play a little bit more of that tonight, to be fair. Traveler's
It looked
Rest.
cool. It looked cool. And then, it's funny that you said that the Stardew Valley reference because when I was watching you guys play that, I almost downloaded and played Stardew Valley because I remember trying it before, and I don't think I give it a fair shot. But man, I had so many games open and closed last night, I couldn't make up my mind. It was so terrible.
Yeah. The game that we're playing is 4 players, so if anybody ever wants to play that Traveler's Rest with us, they can. It's
I thought about it. I thought about it.
it doesn't look too it doesn't look bad to play with more players for sure. Yeah, Myths posted the Hellforge trailer. If you guys like roguelike bullet hell games, that one looks super dope because it added a lot to it, like a skill tree and stuff.
Skill
So
tree
you
is
can
Is that the one we
massive.
signed up for yesterday or the day
Yes.
Yeah.
before?
Yes.
All right.
It's like a bigger Diablo skill tree. It looks crazy. But hella fun.
It's more akin to a PoE skill tree.
Just definitely
Massive.
smaller. Definitely smaller than PoE. That fucking thing is like 2,000
When people
nodes.
open that, I'm just like, oh my.
But
Yeah,
it will
PoE skill
never
trees.
be anything compared to the sphere grid of Final Fantasy X because you could branch off into the other fucking characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do that in PoE. Calm down, simmer down.
In the first one, yeah, you could, because that's how you made builds. You branched into other classes. All right. So we're going to move on into our topics, guys. So again, this is How Gaming Shaped Culture from Pong the Pixels, our episode 12. And here we
Going on a
are
journey
with
today, guys. Should be fun.
Going way back in time to the Stone Age when these fellows over here were young.
Yeah. Fuck you,
Jeb
man.
personally requested that we switch the arrow for this one to a glowing ring, so I very, very hurriedly did that this morning because I was like, "Fuck, I forgot to do it."
Kind of like that though. Don't that look good? I thought that looked good.
Yeah, it does. No,
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. It took me all of 10 minutes to do it. So
Every week we find something new to change, but I like it. I like it.
yeah, we gotta
Yeah, keep it
listen.
fresh.
We're just adapting with the times. We can't keep stuff stale because you as viewers, you want to see innovation, right? Yeah, this is innovative.
Mhm.
So we're gonna go on to the first topic, which I'm headlining. It is the arcades and gaming's rough start. So this is going back into the early 70s up into the early 80s where it started. So in the 70s, the boom, we'll call it the arcade boom, started when Atari released Pong in 1972. It made video games super popular with the public because it was something that was super innovative. Everybody was like, "What is this? This is fun." And it was two blocks going back and forth and a ball bouncing between them. That's it. And then the arcades, whenever they became bigger, they became a huge social hangout for places. There were games like Space Invaders and Pac-Man that super exploded into popularity.
Don't forget about Jumpman.
What was the Pitfall? That would have been late 70s. But it became super more popular because it became home gaming grew to where you could have the console at with the Atari 2600. It allowed all of the players who bought one to play Pong at home or any of the other games that came out. We talked about last one as a game that was a fucking no. It was a movie to a game, and it was E.T. because that game became symbol. It what? A mess?
No, I agree. It should not have been a game.
Yeah. So it wasn't that it shouldn't have been. It was that it was a rushed development because they were trying to cash in on the boom
Mhm.
from the arcades. So because there was so much saturation at that time and it was a poor quality game, it
Mhm.
tanked so bad. And that's what the stuff that we were talking about again last week. So like those kind of games and shit like that is what really made players lose their trust in the developers, which we see time and time again. Every couple years there's a developer out there that we all love. I'm talking about you, BioWare, and we all fade away from them because we lose trust in them. And a lot of that happens to do from the parent company too. But we had that loss of trust there. So when the new stuff started coming out, we well, actually, let me ask this because this is a kind of a segue before we get into what saved it and stuff like that after the rough start. What was your first gaming memory? Because I know when we were talking about ColecoVision and NES the other day, a lot of us, that's where most of us started. So, Jeb, what was your first memory?
Okay, so like I had to think about this the other day because I did have it backwards. NES was my first gaming memory, and it was Super Mario World. But
Mm-hmm.
then, like, parents, father served in the military. At the time, we were living in Germany, and I remember I came back stateside to visit. I think I was just visiting this time, my grandparents for like a summer or something like that. And
Yeah.
I remember when I got back, I was talking about video games. And then, of course, my grandmother brought up that they had video games in the house, and it was a ColecoVision. And then that entire summer, I played ColecoVision. And I think the game that I played most. There was a baseball game, but then they had it was like a space game. I'm pretty sure it was Buck Rogers, if I'm not mistaken. And you were like a spaceship shooting like little alien ships and asteroids or whatever. I ended up that entire summer. I was, I think, 4 or 5 years old. I ended up playing that the entire summer.
I know what game you're
So
talking about. I gotta look up that, find that.
Are you gonna post it while he's doing that?
I think that was the name of it. I'm pretty sure it was Buck Rogers. It was old.
So while Myth's working on that, Serial, what was your first gaming memory?
I don't know why, but the first thing I think of is playing Ren and Stimpy for the Sega Genesis
Oh
at my
gosh. Fucking Sega.
like. You want to talk about old? I know ColecoVision's way older, but it's
Found
just
it, my guy.
I remember sitting down and just playing Ren and Stimpy, thinking it was the coolest game ever, and then going back to my mom's house over, for the weekday, and just it'd be like Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country. Like I just sitting here, that's all I can picture is that box TV and Ren and Stimpy just going across the screen. I loved that game, dude. I would go back and play that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
some
that
good games back
Coleco,
there,
man.
man.
That was some high def graphics, dude. I'll never forget that. And the controllers were so weird. Like you should have
They
seen the controllers for
were.
that thing.
Yeah.
It was definitely way ahead of like Nintendo and them. Like Nintendo
It-
definitely give you something practical.
It was legit. So the controller for that was was bad. It was, no, don't get me wrong, but I don't think anything will beat the controller for N64 or the GameCube when it came out, because the third handle on the fucking N64 was just
I was about to
weird.
say, you
I don't know
can't
what
knock
they
the
were.
GameCube. The GameCube was okay. The 64 was definitely weird, especially games like Perfect Dark or GoldenEye, where the C
Yeah.
buttons were like your best thing for movement, not the C stick.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those weird ones. And then there was games that made you use both controllers, both or all the handles, because you had to like switch it. I think Mario Party was the first one, because you had to use the buttons for one of the mini games, but then there was a mini game that you had to use the C stick on the middle to actually like spin to make your character do something on the mini game. I forget what it was, because I remember doing that shit and I'm like, my fucking hand hurts, because you'd be like,
It was
just getting
Mario
that shit
Party
fucking wrong.
1. It was
Yeah.
it was literally making your character dizzy type thing for the minigame. Mario Party 2 implemented using all of the buttons for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
For I know one of them was like for a rhythm based game. It was so annoying.
Myth, what was yours? Gradius 3, is that what you're saying?
No. That was the game that I was thinking about when he was talking about a ship
Oh,
that was
okay.
flying around and shooting.
Gotcha.
But
So what was your first
my
gaming memory?
first game memory was just simply a Mario game on the NES. I don't remember if it was 1 or 2. I think it was 1. Is the yeah, Super Mario NES, yeah. That was my first video game I ever played.
His first couple of games were a little rough, man. It was. I do remember Nintendo coming out though. Oddly enough, I was young, but I remember how Nintendo changed gaming. Like it pretty well made it a common thing that people wanted to do. Like there
Uh-huh.
was at the time, now it might have just been because of dad being in the military, but I'm telling you, everybody around us had a Nintendo. Everybody did. They were
Oh yeah.
passing games back and forth, and yeah.
My first one was, I had to go back and look at it because I was like, I can't remember what the console was called, because I was little. I was only like 2 or 3, but I actually remember that, just a little bit of that time frame of my life, and playing Rampage on the Sega Master System at my dad's house
Oh,
whenever
no doubt.
I was a little dude. Like
No
that
doubt.
shit was a fucking big ass cassettes for it. That was my first gaming memory I ever have. I played the shit out of that game as much as I could possibly do, and it was just fun. And then that evolved because whenever they released all the rampages for like in the arcade and stuff like that, well, it was already in arcade because it came to, but whenever they released it for PlayStation, they had like 3 that were the main games, and I think they maybe had a 4th one that was kind of a spin-off game, but they added all some extra characters and stuff like that. But I bought all those. I played them all the day, every day. Like those were some of my favorite games and stuff, and that was all built
If
on
I'm right,
nostalgia.
it was Rampage World Tour, Rampage something else for where you had like the 6 main characters, and then they swapped it over to GameCube and Wii, where it came out with Total Destruction, where it had like 40 characters to choose from.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember having at least 3 of them on PlayStation because I never had a GameCube. I always had to go to Jeb's house to play GameCube because I knew he had one. We used to play some game with your parents too on the GameCube. It was like
It
we
was
all played like
awesome. It was a
a zombie
four-player
survival.
game. Yeah. Yeah. No, there was another one we played. It was like the Wretched or something. I can't remember, but you would play as there. It was a four-player co-op, and I remember like there was like a warrior, a witch. It was kind of like a dungeon grind, like Baldur's Gate, sort of. Like it was a pretty
But it
cool
was
game. Well,
set
not
in like
Baldur's Gate, but Deadly
current times,
Alliance.
and it was like apocalyptic times. It's like cityscapes and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was a pretty cool game though. The
Thanks,
only
Z.
game that I loved for GameCube was Mario Kart Double Dash. Like that was the greatest fucking game ever made. Like it was so fun.
Yeah. Anything that was a part of the Mario games was pretty fun because that was GameCube was kind of like the biggest launch for a lot of the Mario games. Or had the most Mario games because that's when Tennis came out and I can't think what all the other ones are because Super
Mario
Show's
Super
Sunshine.
Sluggers.
Yeah, it's when all the sports ones came out. It's when Sunshine came out.
When they
Bunch of
introduced the
different ones.
mic for Mario Party 5 and 6, which was the worst idea ever.
Yeah, can't speak on that. So, anyways, back on the original topic, we talked about because a lot of those gaming memories there are of us playing the Nintendo, the Sega, ColecoVision, and ColecoVision and the NES is what saved the industry. There because they were bringing out those polished games. Like when Nintendo launched in 1985, they had a much stricter quality control on their games and they polished them more. So we got high quality games that were tested.
Bring that era
Weren't
back. Testing games
yeah
before they release it.
yeah right. No more of this EA crap. But I can't speak on that too much because the EA thing makes sense because these companies can't afford to pay for quality testers and have that whole section that because if you look like Respawn, they fired all of their quality testers and or laid them off, but now they just rely on like player base and stuff like that. They have like a small team, but smaller companies can't usually afford that. That's why they do the EA shit. But yeah, so Nintendo system revived the industry. They brought when they released it in 1985 with the stricter control over the games. Nintendo also introduced iconic franchises, which we talked about. Mario, that was hands down the biggest launch for it. We had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. A bunch of different
Let's not
games.
forget Duck Hunt. Duck
It
Hunt
was
was awesome.
It was legit on the game.
Yeah, Duck Hunt was awesome. I was sitting here thinking of early games, and I'm like, Zelda for sure. Like I remember that one, the Double Dragons, Mario. Somehow I forgot Duck Hunt, and that Duck Hunt was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I was just catching up on the chat. Like, don't be snitching me out, man. We didn't go to Sushi Bomb last week. We went to Winchester.
That's what I said. You went the other way.
Yeah, usually we go, but the wife wanted Texas Roadhouse, and then it was an hour and a half wait, so we went to Olive Garden. But because we went to Winchester, they have the bookstore down there with a coffee shop in it, so we could get coffee and chill while the wife book shopped with no interruptions. So we did that, and then we went to Zaxby's for lunch first, and Zaxby's Love it. So,
Wish
but
there was Zach.
Boy, am I
I know,
am I
dude.
glad Maria's not listening to the podcast. If she would have heard the word sushi bomb, I'd have had to book a plane ticket to fly back up right now.
That place
Did
is
you
good.
sushi?
That place is good.
Did you eat there? Because was it open when you moved
Yeah,
up here?
yeah, the one that was in Hagerstown.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to go like every other week.
Yeah, it's
That was
fucking
like
cheap as
her
shit.
favorite place.
It's like $24 all you can eat, everything on the menu, not just sushi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't count that.
So, but yeah, so Mario helped. There's games like Kung Fu that came out that people liked. A ton of other stuff. It was just really cool graphics to see in 8-bit. Zelda. If you have a copy of the Golden Zelda, the originals, that's worth some money there. What's some other iconic games that came out for Nintendo that we can remember?
Dragons, Contra.
Double Dragon,
Mortal
Contra.
Kombat.
Like Contra's big.
Mortal
Come on,
Kombat
dude.
did not come
Everybody
out
had
on NES.
Contra. Everybody
Oh,
still
you're right.
remembers
No,
the
it came
up,
out
up,
in
down,
SNES.
down, left, right. You know.
Mortal Kombat
Uh,
was an SNES, but it was a Sega.
Yeah, and that was later. That was way later. That was like
Listen,
93.
I'm not as
Yeah.
old as you guys.
Yeah, that was like 93. Early titles. I think we pretty well covered the early ones.
Well,
I'm trying
didn't
to think.
no Earthbound was SNES too. Never mind.
There was.
It pretty
I'll have
well
to.
was like Mario, fucking Zelda, Double Dragons, Contra, Battletoads was an early title. Um, I
Nope, Dr.
remember when
Mario
Um.
was also
Castlevania
SNES, I
came
think.
out. Mega Man was another one that
Yeah.
floated
Oh
around
yeah,
in
Mega
there.
Man 2, man. That was my
Good old
But
favorite.
Mega Man.
I'm pretty sure Mega Man was kind of later as well. Like, I don't think Mega Man released till like 91, I think was the first one, or 92. You'd have to look that up. I think it was kind of later on after the NES. Because there was a lot of really bad games. I mean, we had the original Turtles released kind of early with the original Nintendo. It wasn't too long after it came out that we got the original Turtles. That was quite possibly one of the hardest fucking games to beat.
Oh my god, I remember that game. Holy crap,
Yeah.
dude.
There's another. I'm gonna have to like message my cousin because it was her game that I had, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. But it was on Nintendo. I played the shit out of it, and it was this very like Easter egg game. Like you could find secrets in the game, like you could in Zelda and stuff, like a secret wall and shit. But it was like
Mm-hmm.
you were like this little ninja guy, and like you used a bow staff to fight, and there was all of the monsters were like little pigs that kind of flew and stuff, and
Ghosts
it
and
was
Goblins or
Dude,
no?
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet was another good one.
Gauntlet was one. Ghouls and Ghosts is what you're thinking of, Josh. Ghouls and
Technically,
Ghosts
it
was
was
a
Ghouls
good
and
game.
Goblins. Because Ghouls and Ghosts
Oh,
was
I remember Ghouls
Super
and Ghosts. I
NES.
don't remember Ghouls and Goblins. I remember Ghouls and Ghosts, so. But I knew that was later on. That was, yeah, it was NES. I think it may have been Sega too.
Sega was Ghouls and Ghosts, and Super Nintendo was Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yep, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, that was another one I played
Oh,
that everyone
someone
was shit
found
at.
it. All right, so Mega Man was early on. Mega Man was 87. So yeah, it was an early game. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember if it was early or later. That answers it.
But when you think about it, guys, those are some innovative times. Like there was a ton
However,
of
I didn't
fucking
play
shit.
it till later. Yeah, I didn't play it till later.
Yeah. So
All right, and then that pins into console wars.
yeah, our
First Age
second
of Console
topic.
Wars. Yeah, it was the Sega versus Nintendo. Sonic versus Mario was the
Mm-hmm.
big thing.
Mm-hmm.
The what was the first Sega console? I think. What was the first Sega console?
Sega Master System in '89.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the SNES, Super Nintendo. I think the rivalry heated up hugely when the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo was both released during the same era. Um, the Super NES was something that I owned. I'd actually never owned uh, a Sega system of any kind.
I didn't own a Genesis, but somebody in the family, I believe, did. So
Was it
because I
probably
remember playing.
Sandy?
It might have been. I really think it was.
The the 90s were a huge console time because Sega made a ton of consoles. They had Sega CD, Sega 32X, Sega Genesis. They in
Sega
the
Saturn.
90s.
Led
Yeah,
into
Sega
the
Saturn.
Dreamcast, which was released in the late 90s, I'm pretty sure. It
Atari
may
tried
have been
to get back into the
2000s.
game with the
They
Jaguar.
did. They did. Gaming changed a lot throughout this period too, because it went from 2D to 3D gaming as well.
Yeah, because
Yeah, Sega released
the
a
big
lot of
one.
consoles just to try to compete with the SNES.
Yeah,
They
and
did, and
most of them failed.
Nintendo still dominated. Nintendo still dominates to this day, like for
And then
consoles sold.
Sega 32X was pretty dope though, because that was the first Sonic game that you had that was the 3D, and the graphics were actually pretty fucking good on that. Because they also released Game Gear.
I need someone that was like a huge just Sega player though, because I mean, I had both consoles, and I'm gonna tell you, I had more memories of games on Nintendos than I did Sega. Like when it comes to Sega, there's very
100%.
few titles that were like giant standouts to me. Like don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
Sonic is always the capstone of Sega. Like Sonic, it was same game, it was fun to play. It was really vibrant when it come out for the Genesis, and
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it looked cool. But when it came to games that I specifically just remember for Sega, there's not a lot. Like the one I talked about in one of the earlier podcasts, that Shaken the Forever Man, it was a Sega exclusive. I think Shinobi may have been an exclusive. I don't remember it being on Nintendo. It may have been, but
Shinobi for the longest time was an exclusive. Yeah.
I don't really remember like Sega having anything that was remotely close to being as popular as a lot of titles that Nintendo had.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, yeah, Ninja Gaiden, but I mean, do
That
you
one's very
compare it to
niche now.
Zelda or
No,
them? That's what I'm saying. Like
that was literally
Nintendo
just it was
had these
Sonic.
juggernauts.
Yeah, Sonic had a lot of competition then, but it helped because the two powerhouses were Sega and NES, and they really drove all that innovation. And then like what Myth's going to get into now, like um when did it really transition over to the
Um,
newer stuff?
so it was the very late '90s, very early 2000s when, or well, so very late '90s. The PlayStation 1, Sony got in on the uh,
Console war.
consoles wars with the
When
PlayStation
was
1.
the release of the first PlayStation? PlayStation
90,
1, 96,
Yeah,
97?
91.
94.
Yeah,
It
shit,
wouldn't
my
be
brother was like
91,
3.
yeah.
He was little. He
Yeah, I
wasn't
was gonna
born.
say. I
Or he was
remember
born, but he was little.
seeing PlayStation, like a buddy and them had a PlayStation at the time because we didn't get a oh yeah, no, we did. We did get a PlayStation 1, but it wasn't until like 96 and I knew it was out for a while by the time we got it. And then it was the PlayStation 2 is what started the getting consoles on release day, and from like that point out we
Yeah.
got every console the day it released. But I was always curious when the original PlayStation released because I mean, PlayStation, they Need for Speed. There were so many games that started pumping out with PlayStation, and they took the gaming world by storm.
Yeah, 94, and then when PlayStation 2 released, that was
2000.
in 2000. Yeah, I was gonna say I
Yeah,
wasn't quite in ninth grade yet because I remember having it that summer,
Yeah. So with the release of the PlayStation
or no, I guess it was fall.
2 in 2000, and then the following year we had the GameCube and the Xbox release. In 2001, that's when the console wars were at its peak. I mean, PS2 was the best selling game system of all time.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
Yeah, because it
and
had a bigger hand on the gaming community for consoles because Microsoft
You know
just entered.
something very small that we kind of skipped over in these two, I'd just like to add is I don't know if anyone remembers, but there was a time when you could not save games. And I mean, you would leave consoles on for hours to try to continue
yes,
and stuff. And then I
Yep.
think Zelda came out with on NES, and it had one of the first save features, if I'm not mistaken. I think the original Zelda you could continue from a left
Yep.
off spot.
And
But there was so many games that didn't have that. And I think a lot of people forget that. Like you had to sit down with the intention to get through these
mhm.
games that would, I mean, if you're really good at them, they'd take an hour and a half to beat. But, this is the start of gaming. Like people wasn't experts. It was taking 6, 7 hours to beat these games with no save feature,
Yeah, Mega Man used a cleverly disguised version of binary in order to save. So it used, the dots on the grid and that represented on and off. So whatever order that they were in represented, each boss that you had killed, the power that you would have, and the order that you. So that way, if you did it in this one, you could have these 7 bosses completed, or it was these 7 bosses completed. Based on that, that was really weird, and a lot of people don't know this, but the games that had the save feature, like Zelda, if you open up that NES cartridge, there's a fucking little CMOS
RAM.
battery in there.
Yeah.
No, it's a little battery, and that's what
Oh.
actually gave you your save, and that's why a lot of games don't work today if you don't change that battery because it needs it.
Oh, no doubt. Oh, no doubt. The other thing I wanted to touch on real quick before we get into PlayStation, 2 things. So Sega, Nintendo, one thing I feel that was important that we forgot was like the use of Game Genies and Game Shark, because they were
Yeah.
really big for both those consoles. And I mean, they kind of had like their own revolution in themselves. Like when they came out, like everybody had to get one because you had like even in the back of Game Informers or gaming magazines, they would have like the new Game Shark cheats or
Every
whatever it is
gaming
for whatever
magazine
game.
had Game Sharks, and you were just praying that your games that you played was on that fucking list this month.
100%. Yes, yes, yes. And the other one, before we get too far, because PlayStation 2 was brought up, was the main thing back on the original statement I made was Nintendo 64 and PlayStation both being the first consoles to implement the memory card, where 64s had the little one you would stick either in the back of your controller or the front of the console. I can't remember where it went.
In the
It's been
back
a
of the
And
couple
controller,
years.
64 was
the
in the
rumble
front of the
pack.
console.
All right, and
Oh
then
yeah,
they
that's right. It
had
was.
PlayStation had
Oh.
the actual memory cards, and then you would just take a save game to a buddy's house. That was like the first time I remember.
Yep.
All I needed to grab was my memory card. Like, hey man, no, I'll grab my memory card. I'll be over later tonight. And you could just take your save game with you to your buddy's house and be like, yeah, dude, check this out, and plug it in, load your game up, and there it was.
We're talking about
Yeah,
the
I
memory
remember that.
card, not the cartridge, Katie. But you're right. The games were top loaded in Sega and N64.
I
That was
think
it.
they
You
were
can
all top.
continue, Myth. That's all
I
I
think
wanted
all
to
the
talk about.
consoles were top loaded except for the original NES was sliding in the front. Everything else was top loaded.
Yeah.
Which technically kind of is top loaded. I mean, it is in the top. It just slides in the front, but it was on the top of it. So,
And I was
oh, no
right.
problem, Katie.
The memory cards were plugged into the rumble pack of the controller on N64.
All right. I thought so. I thought so.
I remember having one because it was like almost the size. It was like a little bit fatter version and more narrow of the Game Boys whenever they came out. The cartridge.
What
Oh,
was
yeah,
that bay
that's
on the
right.
front of the 64? There was a bay that certain games came with like a card that
Donkey
you
Kong
put down
64.
in there.
Donkey Kong 64 was the first game to come out that needed that expansion pack that went into the 64. And
Okay.
then I think Jet Force Gemini and another game, Perfect Dark, were like the only other 2 games that required it, but you didn't need it in order to play. For most of the other games. The memory card, yeah, Sam, you're right. I was thinking about it too. I went
Yeah.
and looked it up. It was the big old ugly block thing that you would stick on the back of your
Yes.
controller.
Yeah, it was like a
Yes.
fatter version of the Game Boy Advanced.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Looked like a freaking Minecraft block.
Yeah. The front
Which
thing, like you
there's
were
a
saying, was the
nod.
expansion blocks for like more RAM because some games needed it.
And that's something that can kind of go in there. So in that console war, you had both companies release a handheld. You had the Game Gear and the Game Boy. both getting released, and that was our early versions of mobile gaming, of like taking your game with you. And I mean, that Game Gear took 6 AA batteries, if I'm not mistaken, and would eat those things so fast. It was unreal. Like, I mean, you would get maybe 8 hours of playing on that thing out of a fully charged set of batteries.
If you're
All right,
lucky.
Myth, you can go back. I'm sorry, my guy.
So where was I? The release of the PS2, 2001, the most selling game console of all time. It had a crazy household penetration rate. Like there's
Yeah.
so many people had everybody had the PS2.
Yeah. At that point, it was like pop culture. Like, it made it into
Yeah.
every home. Like, it
Yeah.
became a part of teenagers' discussions in school. I mean, you were taking game guides to school, sitting at cafeteria tables, talking to your buddies about the game that you were playing. Like, it became a part of everyday life. Like, this was the big gaming boom, was PS2 into the Xbox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then following year, Xbox came out. It was so technically the console wars at that time was a 3-horse race, right? The GameCube, Xbox, or the PS2.
Yeah.
But really, it was just PS2 or Xbox.
Hmm.
The GameCube wasn't like it sold just as well as the others, but I don't know. I at least growing up, as much as I remembered, it was always either Xbox or PS2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you went to a friend's house, they had an Xbox or a PS2, and you were lucky if someone had a fucking GameCube. Hence, going over to Jib's house
Yeah,
because
you
his
wasn't
parents
you
were like,
wasn't going over to really just play GameCube games. You know what I mean? Like,
"No."
then it was all about, like, Halo was released for the original Xbox. I mean, there was a lot better stuff to play.
But to be fair, your parents were like, "New console, buy it."
Yeah, I had everything. I had
Yeah,
everything.
Must be
they
nice,
had,
dude. I had the PS2 for forever.
See, in my house, it was different. I didn't have an Xbox.
And dude,
I
me
had
and
a
my
PS2 and a
brothers,
GameCube.
to make it even better, me and my brothers all had our separate Xboxes. We didn't even share consoles, dude.
yeah.
I just
We
had
That's
the
what we had
got
to
an
do here when the
old
Xbox,
Xbox Ones
PS2.
came out. We had to get
At
everybody
one
and
had to
point
get
in
an Xbox
time,
One.
yeah,
when WoW was hardcore in my family and Xbox and everything was hardcore, there was
It's hard.
2
Yeah.
internet connections at my house.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was that was, of course, before internet was the speed that it was now, because I mean, if you were trying to run 2 consoles off of like early online play, it just murdered everything. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, we had 2 separate internet connections at one point in time.
And NAT settings were a fucking problem back in the Xbox days. I mean, they still
Yes.
are, but they were way worse. Way
Yes.
worse on Xbox original. The OG.
See, this one kind of stems into the next one, and I've been holding off talking about so much because Xbox really opened the door for the next topic.
Yeah. So, Myth. So, talking about the PlayStation stuff, what are some of the power horses of that PlayStation release? Because there was a lot that PlayStation did, and there was a very, very common developer name that was. Well, actually, there was probably 2 to 3 that made a shit ton of the games for PlayStation in the early days.
You don't put SquareSoft in there, I'm gonna throw you out a window.
Well, we had the Final Fantasy games, um, which were huge. Final Fantasy VII, especially game
Yeah,
still have
we
not played yet.
so ban him
The
into
Need for
eternity.
Speeds.
But
I remember
there's an
them
the
being
integrated
really
one for
popular.
new Final Fantasy VII. You
But
but
might
then
like
Need
it
think
for
more.
about
Speed kind of went to like Gran Turismo.
think about
Um,
the mascots of PlayStation.
well, God of War was like one of the biggest exclusives for that game.
Crash
Um,
Bandicoot.
yeah,
What did you say? God of War? Is that what you said?
yeah.
On PlayStation.
Oh, I was just talking about PlayStation 2 in general.
No.
Nah, he's talking about
PlayStation 1.
PlayStation. All right, name them,
Um,
Sam.
yeah, you name.
Spyro,
So I didn't
Crash
play
Bandicoot,
PlayStation 1 that much.
Bandicoot
Gex.
was I figured Bandicoot, yeah.
Rock and
Spyro. I forgot all about
Lizard.
Spyro. Yeah, Spyro was huge. But Spyro was Nintendo 64 too, wasn't it? It wasn't. I don't think it was
No.
No, it
Sony
was a PlayStation
exclusive.
exclusive.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
they
Gex Original was a PlayStation exclusive, and then they dropped the last two installments of the game on 64.
Crystal Dynamics, and then there was Medieval.
Oh, great
Um,
game.
the Twisted Metals.
I'm upset that I didn't even say that one, and I've played all of them. All right, you're skipping on one guy, and it's making me upset. You can't just cut out Snake like that. Let's
Metal
be
Gear
real.
Metal
That was
Solid,
Gear.
one of
but
the biggest things for Sony.
Yeah, Metal Gear was good.
but
Oh,
there
Resident Evil
was
games too.
oh yeah, there was a ton, like a huge amount. But Neversoft, Insomniac Games,
Yeah.
they were like the powerhouses of almost all of the games that PlayStation released in its early years.
Did we
Bring
mention the
back Tony
Twisted
Hawk.
Metals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tony
Yeah.
Hawk. Yeah, Tony
Yep.
Hawk
Tony
was
Hawk.
another one.
That was Insomniac Games. Vicarious Visions.
Grand Theft
did the new ones.
Autos.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto did come out on the PlayStation.
It was a
Yep.
top-down view. 1 and 2 were top-down
However,
views.
for the longest time, it was a hard game to grab for the US until they finally made it just a rated M game and not a rated A game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we really dove into our 3D graphics.
Grand Theft Auto wasn't a Sony exclusive game though. It was PC and Sony.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was on PC. I didn't PC game till later in life. I
It
mean,
was actually
I do remember
also
playing like Oregon Trail in school. I mean, that was probably technically
Yeah.
the first PC
Yeah,
game
right.
I played.
Fucking
It was
hold
also
on,
released on the
let
Game
me
Boy
open
Color.
CM-DOS.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our
I
Game Boy
remember
came out in
playing on
1989.
DOS, dude. Like, I'm old.
Yeah, fuck.
All right, is it my turn? Are we segueing into
We're
this now?
we're on LAN parties, which is still myth. He's doing that one because you're doing the streaming and esports stuff. So
Oh no, we were all supposed to throw down on the LAN parties just because
All
Oh,
right,
that's
I'll
right,
start
right.
it. I'll start it
All right,
because I
hold
figured that's
up.
what it was going to be. Because LAN parties in the online revolution, because this is where gaming went from something you did alone with a couple of friends in the same room to something that connected an entire world. I mean, this is when I have early memories of just Sam. I mean, when he was working up in Oakland, hanging out with a couple of different friends, Halo 1.
Little
He would go, they
Caesars.
would do these big LAN parties, and he would be telling me, man, you got to try this. Like, we hook all these up, and then, we all start playing, and then that led into them actually hosting, like, their own Halo tournaments, which it
That was
still wasn't
when 360
online
came out.
then. Yeah, it was,
No, it was.
no,
It
no, no,
was.
no. I thought you did them with the original console first.
No, we started with Halo 2 on
Okay, so it was
360.
online then.
Yeah, but we didn't do the tournaments online. We actually did LAN parties. Like we rented space and hooked up 8 consoles and had
Yeah, I thought it was LAN
a
party
bunch of
style. I
players.
didn't think you did it online. I thought it was LAN party because I remember
Yep.
all the TVs and everything being up at the Civic
City
Center or
Place.
whatever. Yeah,
Frostburg
City
City Place.
Place. And then the other thing that you got to touch on before I move into what I think was the biggest thing that came from this was, networking PCs. Like a lot of people in their schools at the time would, upload Quake or Unreal Tournament or
Halo
whatever. And
original.
that's what you were playing during library time. Like a buddy would catch you in the hallway. Hey, I'm going to get on the game. All right, I'll be on, and you knew what file it was
Yep.
in, whatever you joined a game and you would be playing. Now from this, I think we get Counter Strike around this period because people are taking Quake, they're modding Quake, they're doing these LAN parties. Boom, here comes Counter Strike. So you have Counter Strike, you have Halo, some of the biggest shooter games that we know today started on these like little LAN party things of just buddies sitting in a room with legitimately 8 televisions hooked up and 8 consoles playing together. So
Yeah.
This was definitely the beginning of what I guess we could refer to as like the gaming boom almost. You know, LAN parties. What we know about gaming and leading into the next category, this is the early start
An
that pretty well
evolved form
innovated
of
into it.
AIM, ICQ. Like, we didn't just have internet friends that we chatted with on a chat window.
Correct. This
It
connected
was now
everybody. I mean, and
voice
something
chat
that
and playing games together.
Myth hasn't, I mean, refrained from talking about today, World of Warcraft, you know, Ventrilo, some of these early online talking apps that we
Look,
used, and
look
it
at that
connected
face. You
all
mentioned
these
Ventrilo.
gamers. Yeah.
Little good
And
old
it
old.
never failed. Oh, go ahead, Myth.
I was gonna say old school COD in Halo lobbies.
Oh yeah, dude.
But with
And
voice
Trash
chat.
people
talking.
today, there is no way. Like if you grew up in that era and was in these lobbies, nothing that people say today would offend you. Like
What's
nothing,
up, Barry?
because that craziness, man. Like it. The things that would get said in those lobbies. But
Oh yeah,
Put
this
on the
can't
leads
say
into
that
list.
shit
online
today.
friendships. Oh, of course not. But this leads into online friendships. What's up, baby leg? You know, it started to connect gamers instead of it just being something that you're talking about, you know, with your buddies as, you know, on a daily basis about what you did the night before. You're starting to play with them. There's online gaming. There's Xbox Live. People are sitting in Halo 2. People are playing Call of Duty. There's all these games are coming to life. World of Warcraft, you know, comes out, and you guys go back and look at the numbers of that game when it released. Like it absolutely broke gaming. Like it was a revolution. Like online gaming changed what people did day to day. Like instead of,
Yeah,
you know, going home and being a loner, you were now with a bunch of other loners that had the same interest that you did, you know, running around fighting fucking dragons and shit. Like that's what it became, you know, that's what you were doing. So
Falling off the bus, yelling to your friends, like, "Y'all be on in an hour."
exactly.
yeah.
Like
I gotta fucking clean shit before my mom's making me do stuff, and then I can get on. Yeah, you had that kind of
As soon
shit
as I
going
finish
on,
my
man.
homework, I'll be online.
Yeah,
and it
fuck that. I did my
networked
homework in the morning.
everybody together, man. Like it brought all these gamers together. You know, you didn't think we would all be so angry until you were in a lobby with everybody, but so, and then the noise, like that's one other
Yeah,
thing I got to touch on. Like these early Ventrilo chats, like you would sit in there, and you guys got to remember, we didn't have these high-tech headsets like we have today. Like it was these little plastic mics or the mic that's built in your monitor, and it would be left open the entire time. Some motherfucker would be having a fiesta going on. There would be screaming kids, dogs fucking barking. Like it was pandemonium in early Ventrilo lobbies.
yeah. It was definitely crazy, and we went into, because whenever the Xbox One came out, that's whenever DSL really started to take off, and then the 360 came out, and it became very heavy. Like, these internet companies had to make a fucking mint off of all of us
Yeah.
because of
Oh
this,
yeah.
and it wasn't even
And
good internet. It was like 5 megabits
no,
per second,
dude, I
but that's
remember
all we
using
needed.
dial-up to get on the internet, sitting there sounding like a Skrillex intro, and then next thing you know, you're connected on the broadband internet. Like it
Fucking
was.
Mind Spring CDs, man, to get on the
I remember a
internet.
few times the parents yelling at me to get off the fucking internet because they had my goddamn phone call.
Dude, and if you had call wait, if you had call waiting at your house, it fucked your internet up. Somebody called you,
Yeah,
it'd fucking
man.
kick you off.
Yep, yep. The early
That
days.
shit was fucking crazy, man.
But it was so crucial though, because I mean, if it wasn't for these LAN parties and, you know, the online gaming, we wouldn't be sitting here on the platform that we are today. We would not
Yeah,
be having a podcast. There wouldn't be me meeting Myth or, you know, the raiding culture in World of Warcraft to, you know, even Steam and playing games together on Steam. Like this was the turn of it. This was the start, you know, moving
yeah,
like this. Yeah, this is where it all began. Because right after this, streaming, esports, like
yeah.
it booms.
There was a lot of stuff that happened during this time frame for us, and it became like you were talking about. Wow, like that, clans, guilds, all of that kind of stuff started because we had gaming clans. Like, I mean, you think about that. That's when Head Removal Inc. started. It was a gaming clan amongst people that lived in our area code that grew out to people in the state, and then it's now we are 20 some years later, and we branched out about a year and a half ago to people that aren't even in our state. As you know, Myth is 12-ish plus hours away from us. Serial's 8 hours away from us. I mean, he grew up here, but we branched out. We wouldn't be able to do this without the internet boom with online gaming. So it's
I think
crazy
the
to
biggest
think about
thing,
that.
like, I guess, like, to sum what I was trying to say was, like, the biggest game changer would be, like, take World of Warcraft. It wasn't just a game. It was a second life for millions of people. It raids, guilds. It had its own economy, role play servers. It showed what persistent online worlds
Isn't
could
there a
be.
game called Second Life? Am I
Yeah,
misremembering
I'm
that?
pretty sure. I'm pretty
there
sure.
was. They even made fun of it in The Office because
Yeah,
Dwight
yeah,
was
yeah.
playing it as the assistant regional manager.
Yep.
I mean, it's like online ecosystems.
It's a
Like it
sex game.
wasn't just matchmaking anymore. Like
Is
there's
that what it is
forums,
now?
there's
I wouldn't know,
guilds.
sir.
Second Life? Hold on, I'm about to check. I'm pretty
You
sure
know,
a buddy of mine, we found the original copy of that like archived somewhere on the internet, and he downloaded it just to play it to see what the hype about it was. And he's like, "This game is boring."
Yeah. There's
now
a lot
there's
of crazy
there's
shit, man.
there's two things I want to touch on, and then we can move to the next. But there was like I said earlier, a lot of us that, kind of felt out of place. Online gaming gave us like a family.
Yeah.
There was like guilds and WoW was a family. You had raid leaders who kind of acted like a parent, a chaotic healer who kept everyone alive while cracking jokes. There was like its own little ecosystem, but then there was a darker side that came with this that I didn't mention. There was addiction was introduced with online gaming. There was people neglecting school, jobs or relationships.
Or even kids.
Parents started worrying about kids, that were disappearing into these digital worlds. And it really, this was real. It was something that was new. Now we're looking at gaming now after online gaming's been out for 20 years. People's had time to adjust to it. They know it's always there. You
Yeah.
didn't get to see the actual addiction that some of these people got with the internet. And I mean, there was some that got hooked on just Yahoo games, talking in chat rooms in these massive chat rooms while playing bingo or Scrabble or whatever it was. And there was a serious addiction that came with it. Now, before we end, though, this is what I'll ask all of you guys. You know my answer. Of course, it's going to be World of Warcraft. But in your opinion, what game changed online gaming forever?
Yep. It would
I think
definitely
there's a
have to be
couple.
one of the MMOs.
I think there's a couple you can
Fighting
credit
games.
for that. I think you can credit WoW for the MMO space, and then for the shooting space, I think that credit goes to Halo
Yeah.
because it was during the height of Halo 2, Halo 3 days. It was absolutely enormous. Everybody was playing that.
I think
You
there's
could
a
have
a
you could look
Counter
back at
Strike
PlayStation
has to be put
2.
there.
Killzone was a huge one because Killzone was when you could play online
Killzone was
multiplayer
a
with
big game.
PlayStation 2
Yeah,
if you had the
yeah,
network pack. I still
yeah.
remember
Killzone was a big game.
my PlayStation 2 being under warranty, me sending it back for a repair, and they replaced it instead. And when they sent it
Hmm.
back to me, they sent it back to me with one that had the network pack, the modem on it. And I was like,
Oh, nice.
this isn't mine anymore. And I was like, oh shit, I just got fucking online capability for free.
Yep, we're good.
Yeah, like you didn't send me the wrong one, guys. You didn't send me the wrong one. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
But it's fine.
But
It's fine.
I'd say that fighting games definitely grew when it came to that because it used to be just you versus your friend or your sibling, and that would be it. But now you've got like I mean, it bleeds into the next topic alone, but
Yeah.
you've got, competitive aspects of fighting games now to where even I don't like to toot my own horn. I know I'm great at those types of games, but even I'm sweating bullets trying to beat some guy online now because there's some guy that's been clocking 20 hours a day into that game versus me who plays like maybe two.
You're right, and I mean
So
that's
that
where like we'll take this because I agree with that.
that's part of
You
the
went
esports booming.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to go into because that pretty well closed that out. And I
All right,
mean,
but I
from
want let
that
me
section,
get some
go
sections in
ahead.
there real quick. So like he was talking about the fighting stuff, and I'll talk about that a little bit more because he was talking about being good at stuff, and then there's somebody better. Like there was that boomed into the esports stuff, but there was literally a competition that that they were two fighters, two pros. They played the same character, and they performed the exact same combos at the exact same time against each
Twice,
other twice.
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 Once when they were Kefla, and then again when they were Vegeta.
And they
It
fucking
was
countered each other over and over and over again.
Sonic Fox versus was it me?
I couldn't tell you the second person. All I know is I remember watching that fight and being overly hyped about it.
Yeah. So
Split
it's
Yeah.
person,
So
like
so just
blocking.
as a heads up, they coordinated that before they played against each other.
but
That
yes,
what wasn't a random set of events that happened during
but
that
it's
match.
still pretty fucking amazing though because they were able to all of their move combos were timed exactly with each other. Like that is a professional level of a fighter enthusiast, a fighter game enthusiast.
Yep,
But
yep,
I
yep,
I want
yep.
to ask this question for you guys. LAN parties versus online gaming today. What's better?
Online.
Online? Is it because you can sit at home and play with other people that are sitting at home rather than going to a
It's a
friend's
lot
house?
broader of an audience. That's the only reason why I say that. LAN party for the closeness because of the camaraderie. It's a lot more personal because you're in the same room with people. But when it comes to online for me, it's you get to play against now you're matched up against everyone in the world, not just your
Right.
homies in a local town. Now we're playing against everybody.
Yeah. You had to get really
It
good.
was Sonic Fox versus Goichi, by the way.
Thank you, Myth.
Yeah. So it's definitely gaming has changed a lot with how we connect with each other, especially because of the online revolution that we've had. So and the key takeaway on this is very true to what Jebs and everybody was saying is that online gaming has turned isolated players like gamers used to be the not norm thing, and especially like if you go even further back to like
We
tabletop
got made
gaming,
fun of.
like
Yep, you were the nerds.
yeah, we weren't as nerdy as like our parents who played Dungeons and Dragons, but if you look at today's day and age, Dungeons and Dragons is widely accepted everywhere now. Like people are like, yeah, I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragon nerd, and people that you would never look at, like you could look at somebody and be like, oh, they play Dungeons and Dragons. Now you can't do that. You could point to somebody and say they do, and you're probably 90% accurate on that, just because of how much it's around. But like my dad was a football player, like he was a huge football player, but he's a fucking huge nerd too. He used to play Dungeons and Dragons until like 3 a.m. with friends, and he still plays Dungeons and Dragons and other RTS games right now. But that's like that's where my early gaming memories came from, was my dad. So but yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and we can move on into our fourth topic here, which is Jeb's topic
Streaming.
is streaming esports and gaming today.
Yep, correct. And this is the era where gaming stopped being something you played and it became something the entire world watches, talks about, and lives. We've got billion-dollar esports, creators making millions, and kids that watch more Fortnite than they play. So you have the esports explosion. It went from a few hundred people watching StarCraft to arenas packed with like 20,000 fans. Look at League of Legends, Valorant, look at Dota. You know, prize pools hit tens of millions, and then that led into what we are real common with today is like streaming orgs, like FaZe, TSM, Cloud9, you know, and it definitely became like mainstream. This was the thing, it went from in the 90s we were arguing about who was better than GoldenEye in somebody's basement to now kids are making six figures playing video games professionally before they can drive, dude.
Not even
Like,
6, 7 figures, bro. Look,
it
kids are making millions playing video games nowadays.
correct. It changed gaming entirely. The face of it. Like gamers were celebrities. I mean, look at Ninja. Once he started streaming. Soda Pop in his early days of streaming.
Shout
And I
out
mean, this takes back to like Wreckful.
Cisco.
Wreckful made it huge streaming. He, I think, was one of the first that pioneered the donation button, while streaming playing video games. You had, what was it, Justin TV, I think's what it was called before Twitch.
Yep. Yep.
So, there was this was the big change for gaming. Like me growing up through all these years, going from Nintendo as a young kid to my brothers playing Xbox Live before I got it, and then playing online games and seeing that and moving into World of Warcraft to legitimately watching people play the game that I love on YouTube, on the big screen, competing for giant prize pools. If you would have said this in the early 90s, people would have been like, that's not going to fucking happen. Like, no way. Like, you're
Yeah.
never going to get paid to play video games. And now people are making a butt ton of money to play video games.
Yeah, and a lot of these esport conferences slash competitions, they were mostly done originally at like the big cons. Like BlizzCon, they would have stuff and different stuff. But
It's back to that this year, by the way. Just
and
let
then
everybody know it's back to that.
and then E3, there'd be a whole section in the early
E3,
days of
man.
E3 that we had
Yep.
all of the good stuff. Now E3's gone. Like we don't fucking have E3 anymore, man. That was the golden era of you could not, if you were a gamer, you could not wait for E3 to come out because that was the biggest
Yep.
announcements ever.
Literally me every year, no matter what
Yeah, Kenny.
job I had, I would just either make
Pull
sure I
that
had the
shit up
day
on a
off,
fucking TV or
or I'd
something.
pull it off on pull it up on my phone and just sit there and watch it, get overly excited, be the only guy around me getting stupid excited about something.
Yep.
And you're right. We don't have E3 anymore. I mean, thanks to good old COVID, but they said
just
they
have their
had
own
works about it
Xbox
bringing it back.
showcase and stuff like that. Well, everybody's gone
They
to their own
wanted to bring
thing,
it back.
so
The other thing that I kind of want to touch on with this, with it booming into the esports and stuff like that, is just the sheer amount of jobs that are now around gaming, from editors to merch sellers to sponsors. It's so much more than just sitting and playing a game anymore. There's so many avenues that you can make money around gaming aside from just playing the game itself, where 20 years ago you were being told you wasn't going to make anything unless you were the one legitimately designing the game.
yeah. It's where when you were a kid, you wanted to be an ocean biologist, and as you got older, you were a gamer. You were like, I want to be a game developer, and it just your dream job, just kind of kept going in different directions and stuff like that. But it's like crazy how common it became for that stuff. And then like you were talking about the different gaming celebrities. What's up?
Same with these big old gaming organizations too. That requires so much like staff and stuff that does created a whole nother like work industry almost.
Yeah,
To do with
we.
the gaming sphere.
I mean, you can't look, if you look at today's day and age with all the layoffs that happen and stuff like that with the games, and a lot of that stems from the over hiring that happened during COVID because they were in such a deficit of employment because of COVID that they just started hiring as many people as they possibly could to recoup from it. And then they were like, oh shit, we are way over our budget. We got to lay these people off. And that's why you're seeing these thousands upon thousands of people being laid off at
It
jobs and
gets
stuff.
even better though. You don't even have to play games to make money. You can just review video games on YouTube, watch
Oh yeah.
someone else playing the game, and make money from gaming.
Yeah, that's legit. What I think I'm gonna start doing for my fucking stuff is I'm gonna make fucking TikToks of me reviewing games because I tend to post shit all the time. I play a bunch of variety. I'm like,
I
I
want
don't
to make YouTube
post my own
videos. I've
clips.
said this for a long time. I would love to just become a YouTube video maker, like a video editor, because the ones that I've made and messed with, I was really good at, and I enjoy it. It's really fun. You just sit in
Yeah,
your own piece, jam music, and slam clips together.
start
Like it,
editing.
I
You
Yeah,
enjoy
can
it.
edit my videos.
no thanks.
I'll tell you what, man. If once I get this set up, I most certainly will. I'll do it for all of
You
you.
can edit
I
my VODs.
enjoy doing it.
Yes,
But
sir.
I think talking about the esports boom, I think pre-COVID, it started a couple years before COVID, but then absolutely exploded during COVID. You know, COVID obviously
Right.
was a tragedy, but
There's a
this
plateau right before COVID where the
yeah,
esports was in, and then because it went up very steadily, stopped. COVID, bam.
I think
Really
And
boomed
with
during that. And I mean, I think it's kind of on the decline now, but I think it's just a natural decline. Like, I think Twitch is always going to be a big gaming platform. I think gaming's here to stay in the spotlight, like, is where you can make money streaming, video editing. I think all that's going to stay, but naturally it's going to decrease because, I mean, for example, when I look at my kids, they don't play games like I used to. They enjoy
Yeah,
games. They watch Twitch from time to time, but they don't play games like I do. Now, I'm not saying that all kids are like that. There's little gamers out there just like we were, but I don't think it's as big as it was with us in like the generation that's
you hard.
close to us, like say 25 and up.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of like the big gaming boom, us being near the like the well, me being near the older side of it, you know, like the top of the pyramid there in age.
yeah.
So I think it is naturally going to decline a little bit, but I don't think it's going to go away. I think
I think
COVID,
the
we've seen the big boom and rise, and everyone's comparing it to that. Well, everyone was fucking trapped in their houses. Why?
I
You
think
know,
the 28 to 40-year-olds are kind of the big gaming, uh, not minority, the
uh,
fucking the population.
Majority.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
majority.
Now the question is, where's Twitch 20 years from now? That's the thing. Like, do I
with
think it's
punks.
still going to be around? I do, but I don't know if it's going to necessarily be the same like platform style that it is now. I
Well,
think gaming, of
even
course, is going to
If Kick
change,
ever
and I think
takes
this
off,
would
it'll
change
be
with it.
Kick will fucking be the
even
dominator. If Kick would ever take off, like Mixer started to, and then it just all of a sudden failed, and that was just a
even on
weird
that
turn of
topic
events.
of where Twitch is at, just now, what was it the other day? They dropped the fact that you don't have to be an affiliate anymore to have subs and all that. Like
Yeah,
Twitch
you
is
can give
trying
subs.
to integrate and make it easier for everybody to be a streamer. And not everybody can and will be, a popular streamer, Burnt Peanut and stuff like that. They're going to be low end
It's not.
people who think that they have the ability to do so. And Twitch giving people that, like, hey, here's a little bit of extra income that could come your way.
It's
It's
not
really cool.
that. It's not that Twitch believes that the small guy can be a big guy. It's that Twitch says we have a ton of people who are streaming now. We can make money off of them earlier
Yeah,
rather than waiting because they get
and I
50%.
agree. Kick could definitely kick off and be the better platform, but maybe under a different management.
Jeb, run this
And
for a
I,
second.
I
I
say
gotta step away.
I say this wholeheartedly. I don't think Aiden Ross is a great person, and I don't think that he can run a platform the way that he intended it to run. Especially because when the platform initially dropped, he threw out there that you could quit your 9 to 5 and we'll pay you 15 an hour to stream for X amount of hours for X amount of days. So many people did that and so many people did not get paid. Like,
Wait, Aiden Ross runs Kick.
yeah, him and somebody else started, like, kicked off the platform, and made it their own type thing, and then they started funding it themselves to make it where everybody could use Kick. But they wanted basically Twitch with no rules was their whole thing. That's why every girl on there can promote their OF without any type of issue. They don't have a link tree or a beacon in their link anymore. They just have the straight OF link because there's no censorship in Kick. The other day I went on there and I saw a dude playing Elden Ring in his boxers, and it's like that's a little wild. Like Kick is just the unhinged Twitch at this point right now. It is the unhinged Twitch. Could it change? Possibly. I don't see it happening unless again they get different management, different ownership.
I think something that we forgot to touch base on in this category that also blew up was mobile gaming.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that because I do a lot of that.
Yeah, mobile gaming became very popular. I mean, you had Candy Crush, Clash of Clans. I mean, and then
Heck,
that
even
eventually led into like full-blown games where it's like PUBG and a bunch of other games could be played on your mobile
Diablo
phone.
Immortal. They just dropped
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Mobile, which isn't a bad game. I mean, I still don't like touching it, but you're right. It's definitely interesting. We went from a game where you match candy to we've got full blown Pokemon that you can play. You've got Power World adaptations on there. You've got the competitive side where there's actual esports for Call of Duty
I'm pretty sure
Mobile and
that's still
PUBG.
true. I'm pretty sure that's still true, Barry. I
What?
think the mobile gaming absolutely crushes any console
Yeah, it doesn't
PC
come close.
numbers. There's so many mobile gamers, and I think that's why Blizzard tried to gamble on Diablo Immortal the way they did, was to try to, get into that mobile game market. But they should have done it with any other game but Diablo. Like
Oh,
everybody
they could have
wanted
done
Diablo
Starfield
4 at
or
that
not
launch.
Starfield,
They, well, I
StarCraft.
think the biggest downfall of that Diablo game was how aggressive they were with their
Pay to win.
Advertisements.
microtransactions, bro.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. I agree. It really was. I mean, when people did the numbers, it was staggering how much you had to spend in that game to be relevant. Like it was a staggering number.
And
But
So
like
that's what mobile gaming was, man. Like you look at all mobile games, it's microtransactions. And I think mobile games is what kind of give birth to that. And then of course that invaded our gaming culture to where every game we play has microtransactions in it. Every single one of them, to where even World of Warcraft has multiple currencies for their microtransactions.
I think I think a lot of that actually has to do with Fortnite. Fortnite was so successful and it's a free to play game that is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
cosmetics. That's all their
yep,
microtransactions are, is cosmetics.
yep.
and
And
the
And they
made
made
worst part
so
is
much
so
money.
much money. So
worst
much
part is
money.
Fortnite didn't even get their like stardom, if you will, until
Yeah.
after Crafton went to them and were like, "Hey, can you help us make PUBG a console game?"
I'm back.
Once
Yeah.
PUBG dropped as a console game, Fortnite was like, "We're gonna do a battle royale as well," because obviously the survival, keep your base alive tactic style game is just not working out for us. And they've been running that since like 2013. Like Fortnite is such an old game that people don't realize it on how
Oh, it's
old it
been out.
actually
Epic
is.
started that shit a long time ago, man. It's been out for years.
Yeah.
It's
And then it only like Mitt said, it got big because of its microtransactions, because Epic was like, let's make a game that is the niche battle royales. But let's make it different than everybody else. Let's make it free. Call of
yeah.
Duty tried to do the same thing, and Warzone worked. Warzone was good. Downside, Warzone was the only thing that people could play if they didn't want to buy the full $60, $70 game. And
All
that's
right.
where Fortnite skyrocketed.
Well, I think one thing that we did learn is, it shows how far gaming did come. I mean, it went from bedroom hobbies all the way to a career path in under 20 years. So,
so
streaming did give us new heroes. Esports give us a competition at higher levels, and mobile opened the floodgates, and creator economy made it sustainable. And gaming today isn't just bigger; it's more diverse, it's social, it's mainstream, it's pop culture now.
so is
There,
So
there
esports
with
was
that
a
being,
considered a sport or not?
I think
It
it
is.
is. I think
ESPN
it
picked
is.
up 4 years ago. ESPN picked up a Rocket League tournament as a official sport, and they
Didn't the
started.
Olympics also start an esport thing?
Yeah, yeah. Olympics has an actual esports
Oh, my nose
like
will stop fucking itching.
chapter, I guess now.
Yeah.
Gaming has
So
become so big from being a laughing stock to being one of the most known things now that you can genuinely ask. You can go up and ask any worker anywhere what they're playing right now, and they'll give you a list of like 4 games. 3 of them probably being Call of Duty, Fortnite, and maybe Battlefield.
Yeah. So, guys, the key takeaway there, it seems like, because we're trying to transition over to the final topic, is that gaming is now entertainment. It's a sport, and content is reaching more people than ever before. So, like, think about that for a second. Like, as all of us are gamers, like, we already know this, but think of it from an outside perspective there. So, we're moving on to our last segment here, which is gaming's impact in the future. Serial is going to lead us on that one. So, go ahead and take it away, my guy.
So I don't know about y'all, but when I was younger, I used to play these games and I used to think, what would it feel like if that happened to you? You know, whether it be getting gunned down in Call of Duty or beat up in Mortal Kombat, what would it feel like? And going with how gaming has been, now we have haptic suits. You can buy a whole suit that will mimic the pain that you would feel if that happened to you. We have VR. Like I never thought if you'd have told me years ago as a kid that I could put on goggles and put on these little Joy-Con things and I would be the character themselves, I would not believe you. VR has skyrocketed. Back then, it used to be a little cardboard box that you'd slide your phone in, play some weird games that would possibly work sometimes. I remember playing a off-brand version of Minecraft. To now, we have, like I said, haptic suits. We have full immersion where you can put on an entire body tracking suit. We have treadmills to keep you in place so you can just run for days. And I mean, yeah, there's been doing research on it. There's a lot of people who have lost a lot of weight. You know, people sit there. Well, I struggle with going to the gym. I struggle with X, Y, and Z because I'm not a social person. That's cool. Slap on VR goggles. You can sit down and play some like boxing exercise thing for like 2 hours. Burn so much fat, it's not even funny.
The VR
And then
changed so much too. Like,
yeah,
there's people that put that on, like artists, and it will like put the image transparently, like on the canvas that they're painting, or like if they're doing a big wall
Yeah,
mural. I was
that
watching a
shit's
guy on
cool.
YouTube,
I
10 Hun. It like shot it onto the wall, and he's just wearing that AI thing, just painting, like just
I was
tracing
about to say,
fucking
I
lines.
It's like
own
color by
I
numbers, but
personally
VR.
I personally own a MetaQuest 3, and that whole throwing a painting up onto a wall, making a realistic mural. I've not done that, but I will say I have walked around my house with those goggles on, washing bottles, cooking dinner, while reading a recipe on the goggles, while having Disney Plus watching MASH on the other like side of my like room. So it's like a giant theater screen of MASH. I've got a cookbook below me. Like VR, you could genuinely live in VR on a day-to-day basis. I wouldn't recommend driving or anything like that. Please don't do that. Don't be stupid. But yeah, you 100% could do a 24-hour thing, spend the day in VR, just going to the bathroom, all that fun stuff, because the AR goggles or the AR lens on those goggles are so good that you can see and do anything. And now they've gotten it to where I think when they're working with the MetaQuest 4 to have night vision mode so that the lens will switch over and you don't even have to worry about playing in the light anymore. The goggles will pick up your movement in the dark. So, you know, for like in my instance, that'd be perfect because I play it in mostly at night anyway. And then we have AR. AR itself, going to mobile gaming with AR. We now have Pokemon Go, where people are walking around and they're using their camera to make Charmander appear right beside them on their couch or out in the park to kind of have a good laugh about it. There's so much happening with gaming. There's people making scented candles based off of whatever game you're playing. I saw one that was a scented candle for Elden Ring. I don't know about you. I do not want to smell Godfrey, but there's so much being made. It's crazy because, Jibs, you mentioned Twitch. Where's Twitch at in the next 20 years? Where's gaming going to be in the next 20 years? Are we going to be like Dragon Ball with a hyperbolic chamber where we're like
I think
fully
that would be really
immersed?
cool. Like if you
I
had
mean,
an eight
yeah.
by eight room for like your
we could play for
fucking
100 years,
AI.
and it's only been like a week for us inside the hyperbolic chamber.
Yeah, that would be
Oh.
awesome.
You guys are thinking small, man. We're gonna have nerve gear, bro.
That too.
Sword Art Online.
Listen, my
Like,
nerves
Sword
already
Art
fucking
Online,
are
that
on
would be
fire all
awesome.
fucking day, so I don't know if I want that. Okay, I don't need my fucking nerves to be fucking in
there
pain
are
anymore.
games.
I'm ready
I
for
will.
Ready Player One. Like I want the gaming wars to turn into Ready Player One. Like I want to be
I
able to just jump in a virtual world and be a wild coconut if that's what I want to be. Like I'm
I
ready
mean,
for it.
essentially, there's stuff like that in VR chat, so like you can already kind of do that a little bit, but not
I'm
to
about
the
to say
level of
VR.
Ready Player One.
Covering the topic of land online, branching out and stuff. VR chat definitely changed a lot of things. There are people who are extremely antisocial who will sit for hours on VR chat because they can be what they want to be, talk about what they want to talk about, find a world of people of like minds, and just go and have a bonanza. I
Yeah.
remember sitting there in
They
just a
can
black
be the
cat.
weirdo creep that they always wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
mean, you look
remember
at a
like
lot of
sitting in
these
the black
VTubers and
cat and
stuff
just
like that.
chilling.
Like that. So that's the thing to think about with like Twitch and stuff. We have the VTubers and the PNG tubers out there that aren't doing cams, or there's people that just don't do a cam or anything. They're just they share their game screen, and then there's us who typically like get on cam and stuff like that. But like you have like VTubers who are their VTube character is a girl, an anime character typically, and they're a dude, and it's not even like it's a like the trans thing or
A
anything
weird
like that.
aspect.
It's just their VTuber's a girl. It's like
Preference.
playing the gaming character. Like you choose a chick because she has the better looking armor. That's definitely why. Wink, wink.
You
But
you throw that out, and it reminds me there was a TikTok I saw. There was a dude who actually got fired from his job because somebody asked him what he does as a hobby off work, and he said streaming. Showed them his channel, and his VTube model was a girl. The normal average anime girl looking VTuber.
yeah,
And they took it to HR. HR asked about it. He showed them, and HR fired him because that was deemed inappropriate. Which, I mean, yes, he's filing a lawsuit against the company, but you're
Easiest
right.
lawsuit
There
of
are
that lawyer's life.
right. There
Yeah,
are so
that's
many guys that are
that's the
wrongful
stuff.
VTubing as,
termination on another level.
Yeah, I don't. That's just. It sounds like a Reddit story.
but you're right. VTubing
Like
is a
Katie,
huge aspect of the future. Um,
has boobs.
there was something else I was gonna say. Because you mentioned Ready Player One. Oh, there are games. There are right now. There's a lot of indie developers doing it, and I'll try to find the links to the games while I'm at work so I can post it for you guys to see. But there's a lot of VR games out there that are permadeath. Like,
Yeah.
I played a demo for one of them, and I died in the demo. I bought the full game, and I was still dead because it read my account, not just anything. Now they did fix that because they said a lot of people died in the demo, so they fixed it out so we could have the full game and try it out. But it is really cool. It is a genuine survival game. You have to eat, sleep, drink, but if you don't do something wrong or you upset an NPC and they kill you, that's it. Game's over. You get a refund, but game's over.
She's
So
an Apex
it is
addict
cool.
boyfriend is GTA, like Apex Legends, Katie. Because I'm intrigued now.
Of course you are. You're here to Apex and your little
Listen,
red rocket. Bing.
we need a third. I'm just saying. As long as she
If
can
they brought
stand,
Caustic's back to the day that he was, I'd come back.
if as long as she can stand, you know, what the fuck are you doing? Where are you? And like, why are you still looting? Kind of talk, then she'll be fine.
So not Mari, because the moment you do that, all I can think about is the hamster.
What, the one running in the ball with nowhere to go?
Yeah. But to add to the topic, yeah, the future of gaming is bright. I don't see it ending. Look at Nintendo. They went from being a console to a console handheld motion controlling thing. The Switch is innovative. The Switch is awesome. The Switch is probably one of the coolest consoles I've ever owned because I can take it wherever I go, continue playing the game that I was playing on my TV, and then continue it back on the TV when I get home if I, take it out with me.
What the kids want
Steam.
now is the Switch. I think I'm gonna have to break down and get one.
Yeah, Switch 2. I will help you out. I will tell you all the good games. I have too big of a stack. The Steam went from being a computer, right? It's still just computer, but they have the Steam Deck for those handheld players, which I love my Steam Deck. It is super awesome. And you can still mod on it. For those people that are like, oh, you can't mod a Steam Deck. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I modded Lethal Company and played with everybody using a Steam Deck. But now Steam has the freaking Steam machine coming out. And I will admit, I have the Steam controller. It is on the way to my house.
Well, your
I
daughter's got the
did
right
buy
idea.
it, but Steam is doing the smartest thing. They started off big. Now they're just hitting people who don't want to buy a computer. I will admit the price that they're talking about for the Steam machine is stupid, outrageous, and I
Well,
probably won't pick it up.
it's going to be the same price as what the new Xbox console and PlayStation's going to be anyway. So
Yeah,
it's not like
well,
it's going to matter.
they're trying to pitch it at $1,000.
Yeah, they're
And
talking about 1,200 for
Yeah.
the new Xbox consoles.
that's insane, and that's where the downfall of gaming is coming from.
So
Because
that's our future of gaming, is that if this AI bubble doesn't pop, gaming is cooked, like, for a while.
oh yeah,
Yep.
So
I'm
You
all
don't
against
want to
AI.
price building a computer right now.
yeah, well, Nvidia announced that they're upping the price of the 5090s to $5,000 retail.
For-
That's MSRP.
Wait. We're talking about a goddamn video card for $5
Video
grand.
card, $5,000 from 2 to 5, because their MSRP is $2,000, and all the scalpers have raised it. Their MSRP is now $5,000.
Yep.
Don't get me started with those
Scalpers
stupid
are gonna
people.
want $8,000 for a video card.
At least.
Side note: does anybody know what a Nito is?
Yes.
What's the hype about it?
They're a squishy. It's like putting do you remember the Newtonian fluid stuff that we used to make as kids with the cornstarch and water?
Yeah,
It's kind of like that in there, but it's harder.
literally
And,
at work, we have a Five Below at work. There is a line of people from there almost all the way to my store just for those, and I'm baffled.
Now there's an issue behind them right now too, because they're like, if they're busted open and stuff, apparently there's something toxic in them too that's making kids sick. So it's a different thing. That's not really a topic for gaming, but they're
I know. I'm sorry. I just thought.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Biggest thing is on these is our talking points where, what technologies you guys most excited about for the future of gaming, and where do we see gaming in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years kind of deal. So our key takeaway from that topic, for our final topic, is that gaming continues to evolve. It influences and inspires, and its future is wide open. If you see what happened with AI and how it evolved gaming and stuff. It allows small-time creators to create games that, I know people call it AI slop, but you got to think about it. There's a lot of cool stuff. Like, a lot of the stuff that I do, I'm not artistic, and I don't have the time to sit and make some of these images like from hand. If I'm not artistic enough to do that and whatnot, but for me to do
It
what I'm
just makes
doing,
it easier, man.
it would take me weeks. We would be able to have a podcast once a month, if that. So like,
Yep.
Yeah, I think people are not seeing AI as the tool that it can and should be used for.
right,
Indeed.
not
It's just like
Indeed.
when you're
not
creating these
being the
graphics and
only
stuff.
reliable.
When you're creating these graphics and stuff, it's basically just another pen that you're using
Yeah,
to
Yep.
create this stuff. That's
it's
that's
helping
how
But
I
you're
view art.
taking
non-artistic
away
people
the
be artistic because we have
but
the
you're
ideas.
taking
We
away
just
the
can't put them on
jobs
paper.
of all those people who message you on Discord asking if you want them to
Well, if the
make you a
people
profile
I don't mind
picture.
paying a pretty penny for a commission as long as it's like they have
A unique
designer
one?
options, but they
Well,
have to listen to what I want as well and be willing to make the change. And if I'm not happy with it, to change it after that. But I will pay a top dollar for that stuff. But I'm not going to pay
No.
$5,000 for a fucking picture that's this big.
My
well, it's
problem
also
is
90% of these
that
people that are messaging you on Discord
It's
because you're
a
streaming are doing exactly what we're doing.
Yeah,
They're
just making
yeah.
up.
just creating it with
I
AI, but then charging so much money for it.
I entertained one guy one time because he talked to me for a few minutes and then was like, "Hey, do you mind if I send you some images and stuff?" I was like, "Sure, let's see what you got." And he just started dumping. I mean, I got like 40 fucking chat messages of
yeah,
just images. And I was like, "All right, blocked."
there was one person that actually messaged me on TikTok yesterday about it, and I politely declined it because I told them I'm not streaming enough to kind of do all that. And then they were like, "Well, can I show you 2 or 3 pictures?" I was like, "Sure, why
They
not?"
never stop. They never
And
stop.
then
Yep,
the
nope.
moment they sent me the photos, I was like, "Oh, so you just use Chat GPT? All right, cool." Like,
Yeah. Me
you're
too.
right. If the person's hand drawing it and making it look good, that's one thing. Like, I'll pay you, sure. But dog, if you were just using Chat GPT and I can type in the same
I
exact
can do
thing
the
that I
same
just
thing.
told you,
Yep.
yeah, I can do it for free.
Yeah, we don't need
Yeah.
to talk.
Yeah.
All right,
I can do all
guys.
that.
I think that's about it for today, isn't it?
Yeah, we are into all of the topics are done now, so we are going to talk real fast about, hold on, let me get it up because I switched screens and now I don't have it. So, badoom. So into everything that we talked about today, how it shaped our culture. What shaped your gaming culture for you? Like what you grew up, and let me turn off the ring so it's not just sitting in the middle of the fucking screen. What was the hot takes of this episode for you? Katie's posted in that Atari for the win. I'm not saying we're all showing our age here when we talked about our Atari, Coleco, Nintendo, early Sega days and stuff like that, but in reality, it's been a while since
We
a lot of
showed
these
our age,
consoles
homie.
come out. Yeah.
Yeah, we showed our age, homie. Like
Listen.
there's no getting
Bro,
around that.
my kids are gonna call me an unk when I tell them about the N64. That's gonna be wild. My own kids are gonna call me old when they start asking me about like the NES and stuff like that. That's
My kids already do that, man.
God.
Yeah, we old as
Mine's
fuck.
only
My fucking
one.
like, listen, I've been dealing with 2 weeks with fucking severe leg pain in my left fucking leg, and I don't know if it's my sciatic joint out or what's going on, but it fucking burns all the way down from my ankle up into my hip. It's fucking hurts. So yeah,
Called being
old
old, man.
sucks.
Old.
One of
But-
the
Stuff weird.
biggest
Old.
takeaways, one of my biggest takeaways from this whole thing is if y'all want to get your ass kicked in a fighting game, come fight me. I am in that competitive mood to want to beat somebody in Mortal Kombat or something.
Don't make me call my brother and get you on Blaze Blue.
Oh my God, please. I love Blaze Blue.
He's a fucking monster on that game, dude.
You give me Noel and we'll call it a day.
But yeah, so our hot takes, of this episode, think about those guys. Also think about like a positive prediction of the gaming industry and what we're looking forward to and what might be your biggest concern going into our future of gaming. Bones cracking, popping, we talk on our porch at our PC. Yeah, I mean, we're doing a podcast talking about our gaming memories. Like, we're just showing our fucking age here. So And then the biggest community question that we have is, what is your gaming origin story? We've done it before, like what is your earliest memory and stuff, but what is your origin story? What really put you into the gaming world and got you into the community, not just this community, but the gaming community as a whole? And then I'm going to drop a little bit of a teaser for our next episode, and I want you all to be here and participate, because this next one is a huge, huge episode that we need your help on, because we're doing a fantasy party builder. We're going to build hybrid roles, made up roles for tank,
Barry,
DPS,
Katie,
support,
everybody come back. We're gonna build our own crew.
Yep. So think of D&D on to a more crack style level. I don't know what else to call it, man. Like, we're just gonna
D&D on drugs. D&D.
Yeah, D&D on drugs. We're just gonna be making a crazy party builder. So it's gonna be fun. Like, Katie says, WoW brought me into the gaming community. Even while playing COD, I didn't make friends, just kill people in one battle. See, COD and Halo lobbies is where a lot of my old friends come from, and I don't talk to 90% of them anymore. Like, I still have them on friends list, but yeah. Myth
Remag.
Bro,
Don't tell me you forgot Pro, dude.
Black Ops
Pro
7
Remag?
did one thing
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, don't tell me you forgot Pro.
No, him and Dutch Master.
Hands down, one of the funniest dudes I ever played with.
Dude,
that guy would make you laugh all day.
Me, you, JD, and Pro Remag. That was...
I actually have a buddy. I have a guy on my friends list on Xbox who I've known since Call of Duty Ghosts.
A lot of years playing with them, man. A lot of games, a lot of hours, dude.
Yes,
Good times. Good fucking times.
So, guys,
yeah, guys, come back. Next week's gonna be good.
Yeah, please do it. Like, I came up with this idea for the next episode, and Jeb dropped this idea for this one. And I was like, all right, we'll run this one, but the next one we've already got it planned out. Like, this is gonna be fucking cool. Like, I think it is gonna be. We're gonna have a lot of debate. Myth's gonna talk about. Jeb says his favorite class is Evoker, right?
Yeah. Yep. Support classes. That's what Myth just loves to play.
Yeah, he's
lives
have
for,
a lot
man.
To talk about, guys. Drop the socials in there. Look at him. You don't even fucking say anything. Like, you fucking son of a bitch. Setting those expectations high.
That being said, everybody have a good afternoon. Good weekend.
Myth, drop it.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video once we post it on YouTube with your friends.
And later today, another podcast, guys. Make sure you check out the ladies.
I don't think they're having it today.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow.
It's going to be rescheduled.
Okay.
Next
it
week.
Is to be determined, because there was people were sick, dead, dying, and haven't had time to work on stuff. So
okay.
You know, everybody should know that, seeing as 3 out of the 4 of you are a husband.
I'm not included.
Lindsay's not sick.
Linz isn't sick.
Yeah.
Bless
so,
her.
anyways, go away so we can do our closing.
No.
This isn't about you.
It's about you, Lunar.
Go persuade Mari to be part of your scribe wives.
Yeah,
that
she
way
reads.
I can be included.
All right.
We all sick. How rude. I'm sorry you're sick, Kat. I hope you get to feeling better, ma'am. If not, just beat on meth. That will always make you feel better.
Yeah, he talks in that sexy voice for you, man. It'll give you a good reason to get up out of bed.
Go over and be like, hey, Kat, what can I do for you?
Cat Minnie is so sick right now, guys. She's all sniffly and shit.
Thanks again for tuning in to Tavern Talk with Henry Boy Inc. This was episode 12, where we talked about how gaming shaped our culture from Pong to Pixels. Again, thanks for tuning in. We love you. Join us on Discord.
Subscribe.
Inc.